Hey everyone, Creatively Kara here, and my channel is all about taking you along on my creative journey. In this video, I will share with you how I set up my weekly spreads for September in the Night and Fox theme. So let's go ahead and get creating. If you haven't subscribed yet, I encourage you to do so by clicking on the subscribe button down below, and don't forget to ring that bell as well to be notified of when my next video is posted. I am so excited to have you all here today and to share my September weekly spreads with you. I love creating new weekly spreads. I find that some people want to stick to, the same weekly layout. I love changing it up. I like having some variety, and the bullet journal allows me to do that. So the 4 layouts I show you today will all be different. Sometimes I do keep them similar, but I had a lot of fun with this month, so they're all a little bit different. The first weekly spread will have my favorite quarter box setup. I just switched into this Paloma notebook from my Dingbats. I loved my Dingbats because it was an A5 plus size, which basically gave me a little extra room on each page. So my quarter boxes in this notebook are a little smaller than what I'm used to for the last 6 months. Anyways, I drew a cute fox in my open space and then added stars and banners using my stencils. The stencil pack I'm using came from Amazon and has like 20 different stencil sheets. It's pretty great. And it's perfect when you're looking for something, to easily guide you in adding a design or boxes or little doodles into your bullet journal. I will link all of the items I use in this video in the description below. For contrast in the layout, I added my blue marker as the border to each box. And these are my Staedtler dual brush markers. Probably my favorite marker right now, since I can use both the brush tip side and the fine marker side. Here's a question for you. What are your favorite markers? Let me know in the comments below. I felt the banners needed an outline to really pop on this page, so I used my Sakura Pigma Micron to outline those. Then I added in the days of the week to each banner, and then to complete the week, I just added a number for each day inside a star. The next weekly spread was a little more free-flowing. I knew I wanted to use my washi tape, so I randomly wrote the day of the week in cursive, alternating sides on each page. There are times when I want to be a perfectionist and count everything out so it's even and perfect. And then there's days where I'm just like, yeah, we're gonna wing it. So today is one of those days where we're gonna be winging it. I get most of my washi tape from Michaels. I think the 2 I am using here today came from 2 big packs of washi tape. I will try to link them below if I can find them. I am getting better at using my washi tape and learning how to place it in a creative manner within my bullet journal, because there somehow is some sort of theory and practice to this, I guess. And this spread actually inspired me to create another video on weekly spread ideas using washi tape. So if you like what you're seeing here and haven't checked that video out yet, I encourage you to do so, and I will link it in the cards and the description for your viewing pleasure. In addition to the washi tape, I wanted to draw another fox on here, and since I had room at the bottom and top corners, I decided to make the fox looking up at the moon. Pretty clever, right? I did show my sketching process on these. I'm a growing and aspiring and learning artist, all of those things. That's why we're on a journey today. So my doodles aren't perfect, but they're mine and they work. Now here's another question for you. Do you like to sketch things out with a pencil first, or do you just go for it? I generally like to sketch things out first, especially if it's going to be really detailed. But for the most part, I really enjoy just winging it when it comes to, more doodles than an extensive drawing. So I guess this question is going to be more in reference to doodling. Do you like to sketch before you doodle or just wing it? Let me know below or in the cards above. And of course, to finish the weekly spread, I added in my stencil stars. I am pretty sure I use this stencil in every weekly spread here. Now, this next week was a little more structured. I did count out the spaces between each day to make sure that they were even. And then using my Sakura Pigma Micron, I wrote the day of the week in the bubble font that I used for my headers this month, which I don't really show in this video, but if you want to check out my September plan with me, that will be linked above. Then I proceeded to color them in with my Staedtler brush markers, and these colors kind of reminded me of candy corn, which was not my intent at all, but oh well. I thought about using washi tape as dividers for each day, but decided to use a blue marker instead. By the way, this is Milo. He's my furry friend who likes to join me when I'm trying to be creative at my desk. Usually he'll just lay off to the side, but sometimes he tries to play with my supplies or get my attention, so. I actually did not do random stars on this layout like I did with the last two, so I just used the big star as a background for the number in my days. Then I added 4 little stars to track my water intake. So each star represents 1 of my 20-ounce water bottle. So ideally, I would get about 80 ounces in per day. But yeah, that didn't happen. I tried though. I did try. I give myself credit for that. I've been bad about keeping up on my water intake lately, and I'm actually working on building a digital fitness journal, and I plan to keep track of my daily water intake in there instead of my bullet journal. I'm hoping to share this fitness journal with you once I get it completed, so stay tuned for that. Now, there's no Vox on this weekly spread, but I think the simplicity with the color and stars was perfect. I did decide to go back in and add in that washi tape anyways. I felt like the top needed a little bit more decoration, and so that's where that went. Okay, so this last weekly spread is not a layout I've tried before. Essentially, I will have a moon and fox in the middle of the page, and then the days of the week will go around that. I really struggled with drawing my moon this time around. I think it's because a little bit bigger, but I couldn't get the shape quite right. So I found that drawing a circle and then drawing a crescent moon from the circle worked best. And voila, I had my perfect-ish moon. Then I added in my little fox all snuggled up in the crescent moon. I definitely struggled with this one a little bit too, but that's why my more detailed doodles are first drawn in pencil. I think it was the head angle that I was struggling with. My visual knowledge base is not very strong yet, so I often use reference images to draw out my doodles, and that's what I was trying to do here. Once I was happy with my sketches, I took my Sakura Pigma Micron pen to outline everything. This pen and the Papermate Flare are actually probably one of my favorite doodling pens. The Papermate Flare usually gives a thicker line, but both have a felt tip pen, and for me, I don't know, I just like that when it comes to doodling. My last question for you is, what are your favorite doodling pens? Let me know in the comments below. Once again, here we are taking my Staedtler brush markers to color everything in. Got my cute fox and my moon, and then we're ready to move on to the next part of my weekly setup. So I wanted to get a little bit more creative with this spread, and I decided to use my aqua brush, acrylic stamp block, and then my Staedtler brush marker for this piece. And the markers are actually watercolor friendly, so what I did is I drew my color on the acrylic block, and then I used my aqua brush to pick up that color and basically paint it onto the page. Now I will say this Paloma notebook does not hold water well. My Dingbats and Loistrom, which have been my previous bullet journals, did just fine with watercolor, but this one, not so much. So probably one of the downsides, but it's a smaller book and I don't think it'll last long, so I'll be able to move on shortly anyways. I made a border with the watercolor and then went back in with the same marker to make a dark border around the edge. I was quite pleased with the aesthetics. Then I brought out my handy dandy stencil to color in some stars and draw some banners as well for my headers. I thought about filling in the banners with color, but decided to only give it an inside glow instead. Then I wrote in my days of the week and added some more stars to the center just to fill up some of that white space. Well, those are all of my weekly spreads for September. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Make sure you also hit that subscribe button and check out my other weekly spread videos as well. Until next time, bye-bye!